All right, so I'm just signing off my computer here. I just did a little bit of chart work today, did a weekly analysis video for my community. Today's a bank holiday. It's actually Canadian Thanksgiving today, so the markets are very slow. I'm not going to spend too much time overanalyzing things. I'm just going to step away. So the next few minutes of this video actually are going to have nothing to do with trading, but I ask you to stick with me because what I'm going to show you is really, really cool. Super excited about it and actually pretty emotional about it. So let me explain. A member of my trading community, a friend from Ukraine, decided to send me one of the most heartwarming gifts I've ever received in my life. And I wanted to share it with you guys and explain the backstory behind it. So my friend Valerie, he knows that I'm also Ukrainian, and he knows that I'm very vocal on my social platforms about the injustice that's currently going on in Ukraine in regards to the Russian full-scale invasion that's been happening since 2022 and is unfortunately still happening to this day. Although I get a lot of hate on social media for talking about these things, I still continue to do so because I know that for the people in Ukraine, it means the world to them. The people who have lost their loved ones, lost their homes, and the soldiers who are on the front line risking their lives to defend their homeland. Seeing support from other places of the world means a lot to them. And I knew that was true, but this gift that Valerie sent me solidifies that even more. So without rambling too much, I'm going to turn the camera around and explain this gift to you, hopefully without getting emotional about it. But this is very special to me, and I wanted to share it with you all. So this is a Ukrainian flag with the trizub in the middle, which symbolizes strength and unity. My friend Valerie sent this flag to one of his friends in the armed forces and asked him to sign it for me. And this man also got all of his comrades to sign it. Now, unfortunately, and it pains me to say, but a lot of these men who have signed it, I've been told, have since passed away. So as beautiful as this gift is, it's also very bittersweet. But it is honestly so special to me, and it's something that I'm going to, frame in glass and have on display in my home forever. There are many kind messages here from these soldiers. You'll see my name being printed a lot here. You'll see "Дякую," which means thank you, and a lot of information about where they're from, when they signed it, things like that. So this is very special to me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. But I just wanted to express my gratitude to my friend Valerie and everybody who was involved in sending this gift to me. I'm going to continue to do the best that I can and more to support this cause and direct any energy that I can towards Ukraine. Now, there's a few more things that came with this flag, a few patches here that I wanted to show you guys as well. I'll explain what they mean. So this one right here says Доброго вечора, ми з Херсон, Ukraine. So that means good evening, we're from Kherson, Ukraine. This one here is actually my favorite. It says Перемога завантаження, which means victory loading, with the little Ukrainian flag loading bar. So I thought that was cool. This one says Бійся Бога та хлопців з України, which roughly means God bless the guys from Ukraine. Just as a friendly reminder, I'm well aware that there's other conflicts going on in the world right now, and I believe that they're all human tragedies and need to come to a peaceful end as soon as possible. My advocacy for Ukraine doesn't take away from other human tragedies. I'm half Ukrainian and half Armenian. My childhood was very much Ukrainian. So even though I'm a Canadian-born citizen, it breaks my heart to see what's going on there. And I feel for the people who have to go through it. And I'm extremely grateful for the life that I live in Canada. But that makes me feel, honestly, even more obligated to do as much as I can to help because of the privileged position that I am in. Now, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching this portion of the video. I know it's not trading related, but it means a lot to me, so thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just dropped off my son to school. I'm just on my way to pick up some coffee. I ran out of coffee at home. I am so tired today. I got the worst sleep possible. Just in desperate need of a coffee right now. But once I get that going, I'll go into my office and do some chart work. Thank you. Thanks, you too. Take care. All right, so let me walk you through some chart work. This is what I've been looking at for the week so far. So unfortunately on gold, I took a small loss yesterday. Well, actually, it was a realized loss this morning. It was a trade that I took yesterday. So this is it right here. Now, there's a lot going on here, so let me explain. This was a previous trade that I took. It was a winning trade on gold. Very nice. I'm on the 15-minute time frame, by the way. I like to day trade gold on the 15-minute time frame. So the opportunity that I took a loss on here was just simply Fibonacci tool drawn from this swing low to this swing high. There was a clear break of structure here, and I patiently waited for that retracement back to the 71%. I market executed actually because I was at my charts at the time. So I market executed at the 71%, and there was a beautiful reaction to the upside, which was about 1.6 R into profit. Unfortunately, it didn't quite make it past there. I had my take profit set at the swing high up here, and just seemingly out of nowhere, it just reversed to the downside. It kept me in the trade throughout Asian session and London session, and then this morning, the price took me out, hit my stop loss, unfortunately, and then shortly afterwards, it just ripped back to the upside, and now it would have hit the take profit. So it's unfortunate when this happens. Gold tends to do this quite a bit. The entries can be pretty finicky. Obviously, my directional bias was correct, but my entry was not correct. So in this case, I couldn't have really done anything differently because I trade based on the structural ranges that are shown on the charts. Like I trade from the lows and the highs, the current range that we're in. That's how I frame my trade, as you can see. So unfortunately, it's just a loss, even though the directional bias was correct. Just got to take it on the chin and keep moving forward. Now, speaking of moving forward, I tried to do that today, but unfortunately, the opportunity I was waiting for was missed. Basically, the same setup presented itself. I had a big push to the upside here. It broke through the structure here. This is where I previously took a loss, obviously, but it was basically confirming my bias to the upside. So big push to the upside, break of structure of all these previous highs, and it left behind imbalance as well, which is what I look for. Now, let me just highlight that imbalance right here. So as you can see, gold tapped into that imbalance beautifully and then ripped to the upside, breaking through structure again. Now, this is a missed opportunity for me because I don't just enter based on an imbalance. For me personally, that's just too subjective because there's imbalances all over the place. And sometimes they're in a position where it would be a not very favorable risk to reward ratio. So because of that, I simplify my entry process by just entering at the same Fibonacci retracement every single time. And that gives me a very predictable and repeatable risk to reward ratio. Now, sometimes with gold, I don't do it that way. Like sometimes I'll enter multiple positions. So I'll enter one at the 71%, but then I'll enter a couple other scaling positions elsewhere. So my risk reward with gold can vary a little bit. When it comes to my swing trading strategy, I'm very, very consistent with the risk reward. It's always the same thing every single time. But gold, there's a little more wiggle room for me, especially because I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs of gold. I haven't been trading it for too long. I'm kind of just learning how it behaves. And for that reason, I enter very low risk and spread out my entries sometimes. But for these ones in particular, these were all very consistent risk reward ratio, 2.45 R every time. So this was a win, this was a loss, and this was a missed opportunity. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's nice to see that imbalance respected so beautifully, but it just simply doesn't fit my plan. I like to enter at the 71%. Even if I were to enter at the 67%, for example, which would be a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, it would have still missed that. So to enter from here would be like basically a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. And that's just not good enough for me. I don't enter trades at a 1-to-1. So it was just simply a missed opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and delete that fib tool. And I can now go ahead and draw another one. So from this low to this high, this is the new range that we're trading within. So hopefully price can make its way back down here, and then I can enter long, and hopefully that continues to the upside, which would mean a profitable trade for me. Now, from a higher time frame perspective, to take a look at the 4-hour, my overall analysis here is that I'm waiting for price to take out this all-time high and create a new all-time high. From a fundamental perspective, as well as a technical perspective, I don't see any reason for it not to. I think based on the current global situation and political situation, I think gold is going to continue to spike to the upside and create new highs. So that's the long-term perspective. But of course, with gold, I'm utilizing my day trading strategy. So I'm more focused on the 15-minute time frame for my entry execution. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about is AUD Swiss franc. So AUD Swiss franc, this is a swing trade for me. Now, unfortunately, on TradingView, it doesn't show that the order I've placed here it has been activated, but I'll go ahead and show you on my phone that it has been activated, I guess just due to spread or just the way that the data is presented on TradingView from this provider, FXCM, doesn't exactly match my broker or the prop firms that I'm currently trading with. So I'm actually involved in this trade, and I'll quickly show you guys. So as you can see, that's the Aussie Swiss franc. It's floating in profit currently. And let me just go ahead and tap on the chart. and you guys can see, let's go to the 4 hour. You guys can see that I did enter there. You can see the red arrow indicating that it is a sell. Let me just zoom out and click on the order. You can see the stop loss there, and you can see the take profit down there as well. So hopefully this one plays out. It was a real sniper entry, so much so that it just didn't even show on TradingView. So we'll see how this one goes. And there is a scale in opportunity as well. That's why I was on the 15-minute time frame, because if price gets back up to the 71% of that range, I'd be looking to enter again to scale into my existing swing trade and just kind of compound those profits. So we'll see how that goes. So the analysis on this swing trade is pretty straightforward. Let me just zoom out a bit. Actually, I'll go to the daily time frame first to give the real macro perspective. So the macro perspective here that I'm seeing on the daily time frame, I'm focusing on the current range, which is bullish from that low to that high. Yes, the overall range here is bearish, but again, I'm just focused on more recent price action. This is the daily time frame, so this is a very long sample size of data. So I'm focused on this bullish range here. Now, within that bullish range, we are in the premium areas of it. So because of that, I'm interested in selling until, of course, we get into the discounted area of the bullish range. So until then, I deem it safe to sell. Now, with that being said, let's go back down to the 4-hour time frame and analyze it a little closer. So obviously price was trading upwards for quite some time. It was starting to look very corrective. There were no impulsive movements within this little consolidation here. And then the first impulsive movement that we got was a massive impulsive move to the downside, breaking through all the structural lows and breaking out of that consolidation that was previously happening. Now, after that impulsive move occurred, we have an upwards corrective move, which is a good sign, heading towards my point of interest, which is the 71% Fibonacci retracement. And so I simply set a limit order for that 71, the price that it's at, 58,134. And I included this position, this analysis in my weekly analysis that I provide to my Discord members. So hopefully a lot of them are involved in this as well. It seems like a great trade so far. It's currently Tuesday, so we've got quite a bit left of the trading week. And this is my only active position right now, AUD Swiss franc. And again, I'm hoping that I can get involved with gold. Now, I'm predominantly a swing trader. I want to clarify that. I certainly prefer swing trading, and that's the only thing I can see myself doing long term. But given the fact that I'm a full-time trader, I have full-time availability. I can be in my office whenever I want, pretty much. I often pass the time with the swing trades by day trading. And in a way, that helps me with my psychology with the swing trades, because that's one of the number one factors of people struggling with swing trading is the patience aspect that plays into it. So this kind of keeps me busy in a way. And that doesn't mean I'm making bad decisions or rushing into things. I'm still using a very disciplined day trading approach, but it just keeps me busy in the meantime while I'm waiting for those 1 to 2 week long swing trades to actually play out. So there's a lot of pros to it. There's some cons as well. Day trading can be a little bit emotional at times, but for the most part, it's great. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't believe that day trading is for everybody. I also don't believe that it's sustainable or scalable long term. But what I mean by that is, if you have multiple 7 figures that you're trading with, then I don't think it's a good idea. But I'm not at that level yet, so it's not a problem to me. I also have over 6 years of experience doing this, so it doesn't scare me. It's not too much noise for me. But I do certainly prefer the ease of swing trading. And there's nothing that really compares to it. It's almost passive income, to be honest. So yeah, I'm predominantly a swing trader, but I do day trade if I have the availability and if I feel like doing so. And the strategy, the criteria for entry, it's all the same, really. Just the parameters look a little bit different when I'm day trading because it's a lot more short term. And I'm currently testing things like ideal risk to reward ratio for day trades. For example, like testing a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio or testing entering at a different Fibonacci level. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to ramble too much, but that's basically what I'm looking at for the week. And I'll update you guys throughout the week as things progress. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, end of the week. I didn't really film yesterday. I wasn't feeling too great, to be quite honest. Just needed a physical rest day, so I didn't end up doing any content either. I was just feeling very out of it. But we're back today, and I got involved in a gold trade this morning. Gold has been pretty good to me this week. I'll go over more in-depth analysis a little later on, but I just wanted to show you guys the current position that I'm in. Just went long here, and it looks like it's pretty close to TP, so hopefully that hits shortly. And I'm going to go do the full in-depth analysis on my computer shortly. But in the meantime, let me show you something cool I got in the mail today from Amazon. This is a new Rode mic stand, and I'm going to show you why I got this in just a sec. I have a secondary setup that I just put in my office for content purposes. So let's go check it out, and I'll unbox this for you guys too. All right, so let me explain why there's another desk here. I certainly don't need another desk to be a trader, but this is for content purposes. So as you can see, I've got my laptop here. The cool thing about this is that it's a rolling desk. So my plan is to, when I'm not filming content, just roll it into the closet there. There's plenty of space and the depth fits in there nicely. Or maybe, to be honest, I'll just get rid of that thing over there and replace it with this. The only thing I don't like about this is that the tabletop itself was very misleading on the online ad. So I think in the very near future, I'm going to utilize my past carpentry skills and just ditch this tabletop and get another tabletop like this from IKEA, which is just walnut. And I'll cut it to size myself and, sand down the edges and refinish it. And then it will satisfy my OCD because everything will match properly. And all the things you see around my office, the wall panels, those are also walnut. So it really means a lot to me when everything matches. So that would be cool. So this is going to be a little pet peeve of mine for now, but the utilization of this will really come in handy. I basically just wanted like this view for content, like right here, mainly because the Currency Pro sign is back there and I want that visible. So basically my laptop's going to be up. I'll have a mic here with the new stand I just got, and that'll be great for content. Mostly like sit down videos, talking head type videos, and also educational reels on Instagram and YouTube shorts, stuff like that. All right, so while I'm waiting for that gold trade to play out, let's unbox this thing. And this is the mic that it goes with. I actually started Currency Pros with this mic. This was my very first mic. That's not true. This is my second mic. I had another Rode mic before that, and I sold it for this because it was a little more convenient. And it was a really good mic. And it's just been sitting in my closet for quite some time because I use the Shure SM7B behind me for my main recording. But for like a little mobile content setup, I think this would be really cool. It's also good to take with you if you're traveling and stuff, so I really like this product. But the little bass here doesn't really do much, If it's sitting here like this, it's so far away from me that I have to really talk loud for my voice to get picked up by the mic. So I figured I'd get this instead. This thing is solid. Jeez. Forgot to tighten it. Yeah, this is solid. The best part about this little Rode USB mic is that it's exactly that. It's a USB mic. It plugs directly into my laptop with USB-C connection. So it's super portable. If I'm traveling, I can bring my laptop with me and just record content for my community or for YouTube or whatever. All right, this is interesting because it didn't fully close out on TradingView, but it did close me out at full TP on MetaTrader 5. Oh, there we go. Literally, as I'm recording, it pushes through there too. So that's a full TP. I'll go over the chart analysis in just a sec. I just wanted to show you guys the history on this account first. So this is a 100K challenge with Think Capital. I'm currently 5K in profit, and this is the history. So there's the starting balance. I took a few losses, but overall gold has been good to me. I decided to do a challenge with them specifically trading gold. I'm not involving anything else. And even though this looks like a lot of trades, it's actually only a few trades. I just take multiple entries when I'm trading gold because I typically start with very low risk and then I add to that on different Fibonacci levels. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just enter at 1, just like the trade from today that just closed out. I just entered at the 71%. But a lot of these other ones, I'll enter at the 67, the 71, the 75. And so I'll have like 2 or 3 entries based on the same trade idea. So that's why it looks like there's a lot of history here, but there's really not that many trades. So with 5K profit realized, I just need another 3K to pass phase 1 on this little gold challenge that I'm doing with Think Capital. I have another challenge with them that is for swing trading, but this one is specifically for day trading gold. All right, so let's talk about gold. Let's do the analysis on the chart here. So as you can see, there's a few things going on my chart. This is the most recent one that you saw just hit take profit. And earlier in the week on Wednesday, I believe, Wednesday, Thursday, I had another long position that closed out in profit. Now, in between that, you can see two Fibonacci retracement parameters here. Neither of those were met. These were two missed opportunities, unfortunately. I'll quickly go over that. This one here, it was at a good time, but it just didn't retrace far enough. It's as simple as that. There was also no imbalance within this bullish leg here. The directional bias was clear to me, but I just didn't get involved because it wasn't a deep enough retracement. Now, this next one here, I was waiting for this as well to set up, but this was getting pretty late for me. And then although price tapped into this imbalance right here, it's still just not a deep enough retracement for me. I prefer it to be in the 67, 71, 75% area, which there also happened to be a nice imbalance here, right on my retracement. But as you can see, price just didn't get there. And even if I wanted to enter off of this imbalance here, this happened at 4:30 in the morning. That's obviously not a time when I'm awake and available to trade at the charts. So this was just a missed opportunity. However, there's plenty of opportunities on gold when you're day trading on the 15-minute time frame. So this morning I was able to capitalize on that exact same setup again, and price mitigated all of this imbalance and then pushed to the upside. Now, I want to discuss this one back here because this is really important. I'm going to quickly use the replay tool and bring it back to here. And then what I'm going to do to explain my overall bias here is go to the 4-hour time frame. So I mentioned this previously, and I've actually been mentioning this for a couple weeks now. I've been anticipating price to take out this all-time high right here. All right, so that was the main objective. I felt that price was going to take out that all-time high based on fundamentals, technicals, and just the whole bigger picture here of gold. It's been printing all-time highs for quite some time, and I think it's going to continue to do so for the foreseeable future. So with that ray line being there printed now, let's go back down to the 15-minute time frame and analyze this a little bit further. So if I zoom in close here, you'll notice that when price printed this high right here, it didn't quite surpass that ray line, which means it didn't violate the previous high that I had just mentioned. So that means there's now resting liquidity above both of those highs, right? It was not tested. The liquidity was not swept from this previous all-time high, which means there's now resting liquidity above there. Now, during this bullish move right here, there was clearly a lot of bullish momentum to the upside, but it sort of fizzled out near the top there and still didn't surpass the all-time high. And in fact, it didn't even surpass this high. It came very close, but just didn't quite make it there. So that tells me there's a very high probability that price is going to make another bullish move to the upside and run all of that resting liquidity above these highs. So as soon as I saw a long setup present itself, which in this case is a bullish impulsive move and a retracement back to my Fibonacci area, that's when I entered long. And then this one went pretty much straight to take profit, which was great. So that's the explanation behind these trades. That's the bias there. Now, let me just take off replay mode and bring it back to current price. So obviously we're now well above that all-time high, which is again represented by this horizontal black line. Let me just delete it now. So as you can see, price went way higher than that. Now, the reason I'm still interested in going long is because there hasn't been any sign whatsoever of reversal. So after that all-time high was taken out, if there was going to be a reversal, there would be a shift in structure to the downside and then a retracement back into premium prices of that newly created bearish leg. And then there'd be another continuation impulsive bearish move to the downside. So we don't see that at all. We see consistent higher highs and higher lows. So for the time being, I'm still bullish, even though it's now in uncharted territory, right? Let's go to the daily time frame, for example. We're obviously now in uncharted territory. Probably sooner than later, there is going to be a retracement back into discount of this daily bullish leg. But who knows when that's going to happen. So from a day trading perspective on the 15-minute time frame, I'd say it's still safe to take longs. Obviously, at some point, there's going to be a loss if you just continue to take longs. It's going to retrace significantly at some point. So that's my overall outlook for gold. And that's how I was able to capitalize on these two trades this week. I did take a loss earlier in the week, but these two obviously made up for that. I showed you in the history on MetaTrader as well. Now, before I end off this analysis portion of the video, I want to go over to AUD Swiss franc, and I'm going to go to the higher time frame, the 4-hour time frame, because that's where I entered this trade. This was a swing trading opportunity. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned that I actually got involved way back here. It doesn't show on TradingView, but I did show you guys proof that I was triggered into my entry order. It just doesn't show the same data on TradingView for some reason. Unfortunately, we got so close to take profit and then reversed all the way back up. But this is the unfortunate reality of swing trading sometimes. Although it's frustrating, it's just part of it. And swing trading requires a lot of patience. when it comes to day trading, you know you're wrong very quickly. It's typically within a day, obviously, hence the name day trading. You get almost instant feedback. Now with swing trading, I went like 3 days of moving into profit and closing in on my take profit area. So that's obviously very encouraging and it's very nice to see. And then something can happen where all of a sudden it reverses. And before you know it, you've wasted 4 days of trading, and you see all of those unrealized profits dissipate. But listen, this is just part of the game. So as I said, although this is frustrating, I still prefer it over day trading because of how passive it is. And the trade idea could still be valid. Let me move the position over now. Nothing has actually been invalidated. So this is a point where a lot of people would get scared and maybe manually close the trade, but I don't see a reason to do that because my point of invalidation is where I place my stop loss, which in this case is at the swing high up here. So structure hasn't changed at all. Anything that happens in between the major swing points, which is here and down here, those are my major swing points that I framed this trade from. Unless those are violated, the trade is still valid. And in the meantime, I occupy myself with other things. I do day trade gold like you guys have seen. I do other things in my personal life too, aside from trading. To me, the timeline doesn't really matter too much. Like I try my best to disassociate from the time it takes to swing trade because when you really crunch the numbers, you only really need 1 or 2 good trades like this per month if you have a decent amount of capital, which nowadays prop firms makes it really easy to have that. So to me, this move happening, like seeing it reverse back to my entry, that's no different from the same thing happening on a day trade. It's just on a different time scale. So unfortunately, it seems like this one's going to take a little bit longer to play out. Maybe I'll update you guys on this in the next video. And some of you might be wondering, Ara, why didn't you go break even on this trade? You were, more than 2R in profit during this bearish move right here. Why wouldn't you go to break even? Well, I'm not a big believer in going to break even in my trades because the way I look at it is if I were willing to risk that capital initially, like my stop loss size here, let's say it's $2,000 per trade. If I'm willing to risk that, then why should that change unless the trade idea has been invalidated? And as I mentioned, unless the stop loss or take profit has been hit, the trade idea is still valid. So why should I change the risk that I was willing to put on the table? Now, I've experimented with break-evens and partial profits quite a bit in the past, but to be honest, I've been doing this long enough where I know that just letting it do its thing is the best plan of action. Because I've been actually in this situation a million times. When price reverses back to my entry, and it would have been a break-even, and then all of a sudden it melts to take profit, or skyrockets to take profit in a bullish situation. So this has happened time and time again. I'm not saying that that's what's necessarily going to happen with this trade. This could certainly be a loss, right? I have no way of knowing that. But again, I've seen it time and time again where it tests the entry one more time and then just absolutely obliterates the take profit. So because of that, I've shot myself in the foot way too many times going break even and taking partial profits and stuff like that. And when it finally comes to completion, it's a very frustrating end result. And to be quite honest, as crazy as this sounds, I would rather take a loss than a break even because that loss just tells me I'm wrong. Like I was wrong on the bias. I was wrong on my entry. I was just wrong. Let's go back to the drawing board, reevaluate, and wait for the next opportunity. If I take a break even and then it goes in my favor anyways, I just feel like an idiot because again, I just shot myself in the foot just for no reason. Like if you have a strategy that works and you're experienced with it, you've tested it, you know that it's profitable, just let it do its thing. Break evens aren't going to make you a profitable trader. It takes money to make money. And if you're that willing to take your risk off the table so quickly, then it just shows that you're scared. You're scared of losing that money, which means you shouldn't be risking that money in the first place. Maybe it means that you're trading with too much size and you can't afford those losses. When I take a loss, it doesn't really affect me. Obviously, it sucks. Nobody wants to lose, but it's not going to financially cripple me. But some people who are risking 25% of capital per trade, a loss is going to be painful. So maybe you're very fearful of that and you're going to move to break even and trail your stop loss like crazy. But if you're comfortable with the risk that you're putting forward, I don't believe that you should change that. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, the beautiful part about trading is that you can listen to everything I just said and just not agree with it. And that's totally fine. It doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. It doesn't mean that you're right or wrong. We all just have our personal preferences and we all think about money a little bit differently. Having a risk management system is such a personal experience. And although certain aspects of risk management can be taught, it's still up to you as the trader to personalize it to fit your personality and your lifestyle and just what resonates with you. So to close things off here, I'm just going to hold this throughout the weekend. I get asked that a lot too. Like, do you hold throughout the weekend? Yes, absolutely. Because as I said, the trade idea is still valid. My stop loss is up here. My take profit is here. I frame my trade based on the Fibonacci range that I'm trading within, which is this bearish range right here. So both of those points are still perfectly intact. So of course, I'm going to hold it over the weekend. Now, yeah, swap fees are something to consider. But in the grand scheme of things, when that take profit is hit and it's like a $10,000 payday, I could care less about paying $500, $600, $700 in swap fees. So I get asked that a lot too when it comes to swing trading. How do you deal with the swap fees? I don't deal with them. It's just a part of trading. It's a cost of doing business. It's not a big deal. The Forex pairs have been pretty choppy lately, but I'm going to remain patient. And I know that the next setup is right around the corner and this one could still very well be profitable. So we'll see what happens. This is what it's all about right here. We got to be more like cats, you know? They know what they're doing. This guy's just enjoying the sun, living life, rent-free. Hey, Milo? I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I'm serious. If you're subscribed to this channel and you watch my content, I really, really appreciate you. It really means a lot to me because I enjoy making this content. And obviously the goal of any content creator is to have their content well received. So all of you who leave comments down below and like the video and subscribe for more, just trust me when I say it means more than you know. And on the topic of making content, I want to clear some things up. A lot of people say things like, well, if you're such a good trader, why are you making content? I don't know where this misconception came from, but trading doesn't take much time at all. Like, it actually takes such little time. I oftentimes don't even feel like a trader. I have a lot of free time to do whatever I want. And because of that, it's nice to document what I'm going through. It's nice to document the process for up and coming traders to see what realistic trading is actually like. I'm not glued to a chart 24/7. So that frees up a lot of time for me to do things like this, to make content for you guys. But at the end of the day, trading is all about freedom. Financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. That's why I got into it, and that's why I love it so much, and I'm so grateful for it. For example, I just recently bought an investment property. This property is going to take about 3 months to fully renovate. It's a full house gut job, and I'm going to turn it into a legal duplex and rent out both units. So I'm really looking forward to putting my construction hat back on and tackling a new project. I'm basically going to be the project manager at this house. I'll do some of the work myself utilizing my past construction experience, just because I enjoy working with my hands, so I'd love to do that. But for the most part, I'm just going to be managing the project overall and making sure that it goes smoothly. The beauty of trading is that I can still manage all of my trades and do the routine that I normally do while taking on that project. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It seems like every time I try to do like a week in the life style video, I don't have much going on, but there's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, this week in particular, it was more of like an administrative week. I was doing a bunch of things behind the scenes, like creating content, doing certain things for my community, restructuring things behind the scenes. We've got some new features and offerings coming out soon for community members. So I'm really looking forward to that. And also, you know, with the whole investment property thing, I've been just dealing with the lawyer, my mortgage broker. There's been a lot of back and forth. Crazy story, actually. The homeowner that I purchased the house from passed away, unfortunately. So that leaves everybody in a weird spot. There has to be like a court proceeding now and all these legalities that need to take place. So I've been trying to figure that out all week. So yeah, I haven't really been doing much, but if anything, this is just a good, realistic week in the life type video. I'm sure in the future, I'll take you guys along on some interesting trips and adventures, but that's not something that happens every week, right? We got to be real. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. So if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, comment something down below, and subscribe for future content. I'll talk to you all soon.